Good evening. I'm Dan Fitzpatrick at stockmarketmentor.com. Mea culpa. Here's the deal. Last night in my chart of the day video, I suggested not buying Netflix, and the reason was because I just didn't feel like it was quite low enough and it had another day to sell off. That turned out to be, it's kind of like my law professor, Larry Levine, said when I would answer a question. He would say, Mr. Fitzpatrick, you couldn't be more wrong. So this is the case here. I thought that Netflix might have a little more selling, and then it would be a good opportunity to buy, and that turned out to be wrong. It was a good opportunity to buy right at the open. The stock shot up 23 bucks, over 7%. So I totally screwed that up. However, here's the deal. Here's the story for me. I was teaching a day trading class earlier this morning, and we were looking at other things. I wasn't looking at Netflix, and so I didn't trade it during the class, but afterwards, I was looking at the market, and you could see Netflix had run up quite a bit, and I think it was after the stock had kind of tapered off a bit, and it might have even been before the stock fell that I made a trade. I didn't trade the stock. I just couldn't. I felt like I'd missed the stock trade, and I did. So I did not buy the stock. What I did was I sold some puts. I sold the 330 puts, which effectively gives me a long stock position. If the stock falls down to 330, I'm going to be forced to buy the stock. So I'm effectively setting my entry point. If I could get the stock at 330, I'll go ahead and buy it. As many puts as I sold, I'll buy it all. But here's the thing. Even if the stock pulls back a bit, my trade's still going to make money. It would literally have to fall below 330 to about 327 in order for me to lose money on this trade, because I also bought the 320 put. So I did what's called a bull put spread. So I made a bet. That's what it is a bet. I made a bet that the stock would not fall back here. I did not make a bet that the stock would continue to go up, that it would go flat, any of this, even that it would just pull back. Like, this was not my bet. I didn't bet that. I bet that the stock would not pull back to 330. And I look at that as a pretty good bet. So I kind of like my chances on that trade. Now, if you want to trade just the stock, and I tend to be a stock trader these days, I just don't know. I don't need to trade a lot of options. I would wait for the stock to break out above 350 and make sure it's on heavy volume. Probably going to see it up tomorrow if the Nasdaq's up. But the thing is, the stock hit 349.88 today, so it didn't get up to 50 bucks. 350 bucks is where all the supply is. So you have to wait for the stock to run above that, because that's the evidence that you need that there's no more supply at 350. So a lot of people will say, I'll sell the stock when it hits 350. They'll put in their limit orders there. You're not going to hear too many people say, I'll sell the stock when it hits 351. Yeah, that's the ticket. They're not going to do that. So they set these limits at the even number. So you have to wait for the stock to get through there. And if it does, I see a whole lot of blue sky here that the stock can run with literally no resistance whatsoever, because all of the folks that bought at higher levels back here, that bought at higher levels, they've either forgot that they own the stock and they're not going to do anything, or more than likely they have sold somewhere along the lines before the stock is where it is now. So this might as well just be at an all-time high, for the simple fact that you're not going to have a lot of regret back here waiting to sell the stock. All that's already been done, which is why the stock fell down here. So anyway, that's my trade, selling puts here. your trade, you can do the same thing if you want, or buy the stock when it breaks out above 350. So that's it. Again, my apologies for an incorrect analysis yesterday. Told you to do the exact wrong thing.